Hello, and welcome to a marketing-heavy episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, I'm very excited for his second appearance on the show, James Weihoenig of Morph Sander out of Brisbane, Australia. We had James on just over a year ago, and he's been kicking ass since then. We immediately dive into the marketing conversation and stay there for a good portion of the interview. James and I discuss the importance of customer retention and how to take care of those customers. We talk about the tremendous cost of running a business and how regulating cash flow isn't always as easy as it seems. We discuss which platforms sell the best and why, but it hasn't always been easy. James has had his fair share of challenges.
The stinger on America is the tariffs that just came in. They've screwed me over. So recently I had about 50 packages rejected by customs for absolutely no reason. And it cost me about $5,000, like out of my pocket. And what I did was I just resent everything again. I just sent it and said, "Hey, I'm resending," and I added extra products into all the packages, resent it. I had a couple negative reviews. Luckily on like a discontinued product. I discontinued on my website, so it doesn't matter too much. But I had a couple negative reviews about it just taking a long time to get there, which is out of my control. But it was just, it cost me like $5,000. But I was like, these people bought it. I've just got to suck it up and just take the blow.
We also talk about a concept that James is working on that draws new ideas to a platform that supports creativity and prevents gatekeeping. We discuss how selling through retail channels has its challenges and the difference between selling direct to customers and through retail, and maybe a potential shift in his marketing and sales to a possible abrasive business. All that and more on this episode of the Drywall Podcast. Also, I would like for you to put your dirty ass hands together for this month's sponsor, Panel Ray. Today's episode and all of the episodes in April and May are brought to you by Panel Ray. Panel Ray is the preferred joint compound of fresco harmony in England and beyond. Oh, and speaking of England, yours truly, along with a host of others and our friends at GWI, will be manning the helm at booth 28 at the Trade Decorator Live Show happening June 3rd and 4th in Bolton, England. The higher-ups at the show have also bestowed upon me the honor of being one of 4 main presenters at this year's show. That's right, we'll be playing in the colored mud and offering up some chances to get free Fresco Harmony product and maybe try some yourself. So if you haven't been to England, or if you're already living there, this might be the opportunity you've been waiting for. Trade Decorator Live brings together a highly engaged audience of professional painters and decorators who are looking to expand their skills, particularly in specialty and decorative finishes. I'd love to meet you or see you again. I have a feeling this show is going to be amazing. Also, be sure to catch my episode with Regional Sales Manager of Panel Ray, Oscar Acosta, all the way back on episode 146. He's a great guy, and you'll love him. But for now, all the way from Brisbane, Australia, the man, the myth, the legend, James Weihoenig of Morph Sander, on his second appearance on the Drywall Podcast, episode 168. And let's get into it. James Weihoenig back on the Drywall Podcast. The last time we had James on the show was, as I said, episode 115, November 1st, 2024. And at that point in time, we didn't know each other. I was
Wow.
going to CSR. And here's the funny part about this story. Like you had the big transformer sander that you sent me. You sent me this stuff. And I was like, damn, dude, motherfuckers like sent me this shit. Like it's so
Yeah.
cool. And what is it? And it's got like the apex. And the apex you sent me like had broken. It was like they were brittle.
Yeah.
They broke really easily. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. There's a lot of sanders on the market. And so then, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him. I liked the Transformer sander with the three pieces. That was like the Bertha, the
Yeah.
giant sander. And so I took it all to CSR. I gave it all away. Dude, people were checking it out, and I gave it, but it wasn't like they were like blown away. It
Yeah.
wasn't like some people were interested, like, oh, that's a really interesting design. But I did give them away. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'll help James out, whatever, we'll see. I feel bad for the guy because there's a lot of sanders on the market. You got like, all these big companies are making sanders. Like, hey, best of luck to him. Now it's like I can't go on social media without seeing a goddamn Morph Sander video. I just interviewed Manners. They're like, oh yeah, we're getting the Morph Sander in. I talk to GWI all the time because I like Ben and we sell product there. But he's like, I can't keep the Morph Sander on the shelf.
Yeah. I can't take all the glory with it. I just listen to the customers. Basically, I'm not the most amazing marketer, despite what you think. I just have an understanding of sales, and what drives the sale and how
Yeah.
to attack a pain point, and mostly just how to look after a customer. And that's the biggest thing, how to look after a customer. We've got a 27% return customer rate, which is huge.
See,
A lot
how
of
do you
guys don't.
get how do you get that algorithm? Because I feel like I have good customer retention too. Like that's
You
how
got to know
you
your data.
differentiate like a good product from a mediocre product or one that's not going to sell. Is the market going to accept this product?
Look, in this modern world, providing the products actually, there is a market for any product. You've just got to own your data, because if you don't own your data, how can you retarget what's working? So like there's this saying in marketing. It's I know my marketing's working, but I don't know what 50% is working. But the
Right.
thing is, in this modern day on social media, you can track every single metric. And the fact that you can track every single metric, you can retarget who likes it and sort of forget who doesn't like it.
Who
And
has
that works out
time? Who
good.
has time for all that stuff though, James? It's like this is the catch 22 with me. My ADD brain is what has gotten me to this point. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I only have the bandwidth to post one post a day. I don't have time to go in there and do all the algorithm. It takes me forever to like selling on TikTok is a good example. Like I threw up a
Mm,
couple of products and I'm like, I think it would do really well on
mm.
TikTok. I just don't have the time and maybe I do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an excuse.
I haven't nailed TikTok yet, but I think it's important to get on TikTok for when
Yeah.
the generation who enjoys TikTok grows up, because like you could forget it for the time being. But the thing is like Instagram and Facebook is like an aging population. And so you target TikTok, and you're going to stay relevant for longer. Because right now, the demographic that uses TikTok isn't really spending the money because they don't really have it. Whereas on Instagram and Facebook, you've got tradies who have already made it. But you got to realize these guys are getting older, and in another 5 years, they're all going to have money, and they're going to use TikTok and not Facebook and Instagram. So you got to really plan for that.
TikTok, you can have the shop, which you kind of can do on Instagram as well. But you can
Instagram,
you
that's
can
hard.
go on and you can go on and do like an infomercial on
Yeah,
TikTok where it's like, hey, click the link down below. It takes you right to the shop. You buy the product, you ship it
yeah.
end to
The
end.
the the biggest thing about TikTok is you can really own your affiliates, and you can own your UGC. So, like, one problem that I've really had with UGC creators is I'm not going to pay someone to just do a video because I feel like they're going to lie. Like I feel like they're going to lie and say the product's good, and I don't like that because
I
it's
don't either.
if my product's bad, I want to hear about it. But the thing on TikTok you can do is you can pay them per sale. Unfortunately, on Instagram, no one is using that little code like Morph 22 to save
No,
22%. No one's
no,
using that. They're
no.
too lazy. They just want to click something and be done. Like we're
Yeah.
in an age where this to make a dollar, you got to do a lot, and people just they
It's a
don't want to think, they just
disservice
want to do
too.
it.
It's a disservice to the
Yeah,
influencer. So on TikTok, I go on there. I'm like, hey man, check out these
yeah,
mud plugs. These are sweet. And then I'm like doing it's live. I'm doing my little song
yeah,
and my little song and dance. I'm putting the mud plug in the wall. I'm scraping it, and boom, the sales are coming in. I'm getting a percentage of each of those sales. That's such a better
yeah.
model.
And that works great. And now imagine you're putting that mud plug in the wall. Now you got to do your Instagram version, and you say, "Oh, and you could save 22% if you use my code." Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, this motherfucker's just trying to fucking
Yes.
sell me a product,"
Yes.
and 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 that just unfortunately doesn't work. And the thing but the thing is
Yeah.
I can't just pay per video because it doesn't work like that because it changes the motive. I want the motive to be more around each sale. I want to be able to track the sales, and I want to like the people to actually believe
This
like the
is
products.
so this is so important, and I agree. I don't mean to cut you off. I just have these like when the thought comes, if I don't, it'll like run away. But like
Yeah,
I get it too. Like okay, there's
yeah,
two people in particular that I could pay to use my product. They've done like a competing DAP product that's not even really a competing product where they dump like,
yeah,
you know, mud into a bucket of paint and put it on a wall in a studio. And it's like, well, that's not what I'm doing. I've done 1 million square feet of what I do.
mm,
Even the reach, the DIY reach that these guys have, like it would be great, but
mm.
they don't believe in it. Like I
Yeah,
don't want people using my product that don't believe in it. And that
yeah,
sounds
exactly.
weird. That sounds weird, right?
Exactly. And the thing is like the way everything works is I've got to be able to track metrics, track what sales are doing, because the thing is Morph Morph doesn't necessarily need influencers um, doing doesn't really necessarily need influencers doing videos. Most of the marketing is actually just people referring it in the background
Yep.
because, like in the box, if a package is late, I'll include some free stuff. And there's these sort of little things that people like that shows that you care, and that's sort of what drives the sales.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think it's the performance of the tool. Like
yeah, yeah,
don't discredit. It's a good idea, and
the performance of
it works better than anything on the market. Like, right?
and 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 that's all good until a copy comes along and the person wants to look after their customer. Like the thing is, I really care about the customer. The thing is, the customers are the ones who um, bought the product. And TikTok Shop isn't really a thing too much in Australia, but it's going to be soon. And once that comes in, we're really going to be able to get in on the data because this is the thing is like someone can do a video and because I can't see the data, I can't recommend what they can do because like for me, I see when I do this, it makes a sale. So hey, do this. But when I can't see his data, I can't say hey, do this. So I don't even know if it's making a sale or not because the sales from like customers recommending is so high that any other sale that comes in from people doing videos doesn't make like it doesn't make a difference where I can track that metric and I need to be able to track the metric to be able to pay because of the cost of what it costs to run a business like this. Like like for example, like just my rent and outgoings and everything in this place that I'm in at the moment, I'm spending $2,000 a week. Like, you know what I mean? So like when I've got all these costs, I've got to be very like specific about the
Well,
data and understanding it. And that's what's so good
people
about
think, oh,
TikTok.
he's selling a bunch of product, he must be making a bunch of money. But the reality is, especially when you're in the beginning, I just diluted my entire account to buy two more drums of sealer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And then
there's some,
the whole battle is building my account back up so that I can afford sealer in three,
yeah.
4 months when I need it. Like, and pay rent and buy gas.
Yeah. And that's the thing is um the cash flow is very hard. There's many times where I look at my account and I look at it and I'm like, I have negative $20,000.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, the customer comes first. Is the
Yeah.
customer happy?
Like every day, James. That's my
You know,
world.
but one day when Morph is like at the very top of the game, which it will be,
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember these people from the beginning. I don't forget this sort of stuff. Like I appreciate everyone who's helped with the journey. But
Yes.
there's
Yeah,
just
I
like
agree.
but like I do believe like there's been a couple people that I believe that generally wanted to help, but they felt like maybe I was like taking advantage because they did a bunch of videos and you know I haven't you know brought them in on the books or anything like that. And as much as I'd like to, I'm barely getting by myself. Like for example, right now in this fuel situation that's happening in Australia, right? We're in Sydney, it's like $4 or $5 a liter. In Brisbane, it's like uh, three almost $4 a liter, right? To put that into perspective, I don't know if you use gallons or if anyone's American and
Gallons.
they're
Yeah. Yeah.
using gallons, right? It's about $12 a gallon.
Well, California's about 8, so they're getting up there.
Fucking see, they get nailed as
That
well.
that's
But
crazy.
like and they're about to put on a regulation where we're only allowed to put $40 in at a time. Now, 40, it's costing me. So my factory is 10 minutes away from my house. Just to drive to the factory and back, it's costing me like $20, like in my diesel truck, you know. And
Okay.
so
You need
what
to
is
get yourself a
$40?
Prius. You know what? I visited Rob Mack up in
Yeah, but
he
I'm
drives a
picking up
Prius.
too much.
He puts all
I'm
his
picking up
drywall
too much
stuff.
material. I need a truck. You know what I mean?
He's got this Prius and he's got the seats folded down and he's got all his stuff stuck. And I'm so jealous. I was like every day I'm like, "Ah, I need to get one of those Prius."
Yeah, yeah,
But I agree.
yeah,
I use my truck. I love the bed of the truck. I haul shit
yeah,
around too all the time. It's like trucks are necessary.
yeah.
That's expensive.
But we'll touch back on like TikTok and that, and you're right. Like TikTok is a much better platform for marketing. For in Australia, it's just not quite there yet, but it just
Sure.
understands how to look after like creators and how to look after the people who are selling. Like both people can be happy there and sell a product. And help each other out. And if they're like there's the data's there. Every time they make a sale, they get a commission, and it's just I just wish Instagram had a way to do that, and it's just
Totally.
not. It's
Like
not. It's
Instagram
not.
needs to take a page out of TikTok's book and start running that platform more as a
Yeah, I think.
and I don't know how to do it on TikTok right now either, but I know that people are doing it and it does
Yeah,
work. Kind of like
yeah,
Amazon with a social media aspect attached to it.
yeah, yeah.
Are you on Amazon?
I'm not on Amazon, and there's a reason why I'm not on Amazon, and the biggest reason is when you're on Amazon, your data belongs to the world, and they can
Mm,
see exactly how many sales you're making. And the thing is I don't need competitors knowing how many sales I'm making, um, because they're gonna find out a way to copy me. And like the thing is they can assume how many sales I'm making, which is fine. But the thing is, I don't need them knowing my exact data on what I'm doing and think, okay, well, this guy is manufacturing it himself. We can go get it made in China and we can beat him to it. Even though I've got patents and everything, that's my biggest thing. And it would
Fair,
be great
fair.
because I'd be able to do next day shipping in America. The problem is it takes about 2 weeks for an American to get my product because like at the moment I'm getting that many orders coming in, from America, that it takes me a week to get the thing out the door because it's just there's just too much for. And I've got a worker that comes in now, but I'm getting some more workers. But before I
Okay.
was just doing it myself. But now that the cash flow is coming through, I can really push that because I want to be able to get it out as soon as the person buys it. But the problem is I can't at this point in time. My filament is costing me twice as much as it was before this fuel crisis.
Ugh.
So now that was what I would use to pay someone to help me get out the door the next day. So I'm doing it all myself at the moment, which makes it really hard. Like to run everything myself is, it shouldn't be possible, but I've just got a good system. Um, but I really need workers.
So you're doing labor sanding in Australia. You're making an income doing that. Is how much of like your take home pay, I guess, relies on that labor? And do you have a plan to completely get out of that and start just focusing on product?
So I don't need to do the sand at all.
Okay, that's
Um,
good. That's a good place to be.
yeah, I don't need to do the sanding. The thing is that, I'm still developing products. I'm still trying to get everything really good. I'm trying to get people who will test the products and give me genuine feedback because the problem is a lot of guys, they're like, I'm getting free products. I'm not going to say anything bad. So I'm finding people who can genuinely test it, who can do some good quality videos. I'm training up. So I've got a bot that I've built. I've coded it up, and basically what it does is it clips all. So I clip all my videos, and then it edits them together to make a video, and I post that to trial reels to get new people to see the sander. So none of my followers will see that, and then whatever performs good, I'll post to my main following group. And I've got that.
Dude, that's
I'm
so next
building,
level. That's
I'm
so
building
good.
that system, and it's learning what a viral video is,
So
and I'm then repurposing.
you're relying on AI essentially a lot.
Yeah, no, AI is a really big thing. I'm trying to implement it in a way where, it's amplifying everything, not like completely taking over. Um, so so I built this bot that edits videos, not all my video, like
Because
so like I thought,
one second, I'm sorry, just to play devil's advocate, like the reasons that you don't want to go on Amazon, you're giving all of that data to AI, which is essentially owned by like, these giant corporations. But I guess maybe other competitors can't see how much sales you're doing or something.
so so the corporations will get like data in regards to videos and whatnot, and what I'm earning and what the potential of a sanding product can earn is not going to tickle some AI company's fancy when they're literally doing like millions and
Millions.
millions of dollars a
Yeah.
day. It's not like hundreds of millions of dollars a day. They're not really going to be, oh, we're going to release a sander, you
It's
know.
not, it's
But
more about the data. They're just collecting your
I
personal
don't
data.
I don't really care too much if they have my data. The people, what I mean is, I don't want some Alibaba factory to see my data. And I'm not talking about competitors like, for example, like Wallboard or Tape Pro or something like that, because
Okay.
like they've already got their own sanders. I'm talking more about Alibaba making a $2 sander, which is exactly the same as not having to do
Right.
anything about it.
Right. And
You
then
know what I mean?
like Amazon owns it and then they just squash you.
So they have scrapers that scrape the
Yeah, I've
data
heard that.
on, and then as soon as something stands out where it's like easy conversions, it'll notify them and they go, okay, let's make it. They don't have
Fuck.
people sitting there looking at it. Like they have
That's
they
awesome.
they scrape they scrape the in and out of what they need, and that's Amazon is like the best place for that. And then there's other people
Interesting.
on Amazon, and some kid on Amazon will scrape the data and then just 3D scan my sander and release it because they know the exact metrics and sell it. And it doesn't matter if you have a patent. And like I can have a really strong brand and everything, but it doesn't matter if they're selling it for like $2 or what,
Well,
you
because
know.
it's going to migrate right underneath your Morph Sander
Yeah.
advertisement. It's going to migrate that there's a cheaper version here.
Yeah. And the thing is it's not like um I can't make my sander for $2 because I'm manufacturing it myself, but a factory in China could probably sell it for maybe like $30 or something like that. But the thing is like and I could have got the product made in China. Don't get me wrong, I get the product made in China. If I made the product in China, I would be very, very well off right now. But the thing is I think, well, if we're exporting all labor out of Australia, that money is leaving the country and it's devaluing the dollar of every individual in this country. And can I sleep if I do that? And like, so I manufacture things here. Mind you, like there's certain things like bolts that will come from China, but that's collaborating. And there's nothing wrong with collaborating in the world. But if you give, like, if you don't contribute to the world in anything with anything valuable like manufacturing, then your country loses its value. And it's like when you can have a best friend and they can love you, but if you keep giving that best friend your resources, they're up here and they stop being your friend. And the thing is this is just the way the world works. And I don't mind if people are making things in China, but the thing is that's not what Morph is. I want Morph to be able to bring back to this country and
Good.
maybe set a trend where more people want to do that. It's really, really, really hard to do it. It's really hard.
What is your ambition, your base ambition for Morph? Have you been approached and would you be interested in selling Morph
I've
early,
been
or do you enjoy? You've been approached.
I've been approached like heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been approached heaps.
How come you're not
Um,
selling? Why wouldn't you sell right now?
because the mission with Morph is much bigger than me. I want to make a lot of money, but it's not like to make a lot of money so that I can drive a Lambo. Mind you, driving a Lambo would be fantastic, but that's not my priority right now. My
It's
priority
you
right
can't haul a
now,
lot. You can't haul a lot in a lamp. Just like you can haul more
no,
in a
no,
Prius.
exactly.
In a Prius, you
Exactly. But the mission for Morph is to morph the building industry in Australia. The problem right now that we face in Australia is we're not building enough homes. So if I can make tools that are 2 times faster in every industry, in the construction industry, then we can build 2 times as many homes, and then we don't have to rely on foreign entities that are going to be imported. What's going to happen is they're going to have foreign entities in our country, big building corporations building everything, then employing everyone, then all of the construction workers are going to be earning nothing. And then the money from that company is going to leave the country, go to another country, and everyone in our country is going to become poorer. And the building industry is pretty well like building and selling homes is one of the last things that we have in Australia. And if that leaves Australia, everyone's going to suffer. And this is just like things that keep me awake at night. So, like, one of the big things that I'm working on is a way for people like me who are making tools that will make things faster to be able to sell their tools online. So, like, I'm working on a platform at the moment, and basically the platform finds videos that are going viral about unique tools that aren't necessarily being sold, and then it puts it on the platform, scrapes it, and then puts a buy now button across the right. And then the people will leave that platform after watching the viral tool content, and then they can approach that person to buy
I
it.
love
And
it.
the whole
I was
and the
already
whole
thinking like I would pay James to just do my marketing. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, man. Go on. Sorry. You got the dog. I'm doing a podcast. Oh shit! She's okay. No, that's all right. I'll do it for you. What's your last name? Harmon. We're good. Okay, man. Have a good day.
you'll see that in the edit.
Speaking of new tools, dude. 1 second. We're gonna go back to that. I don't have my fucking knife. Always on me. God damn it, James. Meanwhile, you got this crazy podcaster in Albuquerque, New Mexico that's helping you in Australia. There's something there, man.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I
Now,
I'm like esoteric. I see it as one world and that we're all
it's it,
like it's like humans. Like we're all
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Um
So this is the thing. This is the thing that um that is about. And this is like I'm right into the esoteric stuff,
one
and my
second.
main.
1 second. I don't want to go down the esoteric path just yet. Check this
Okay,
out. It's a new tool. Can-Am sponsor. Well, they when this drops, they will have sponsored last month, but it's Panel Ray, Fresco Harmony, GWI is going to sponsor because we're getting ready for the Trade and Decorator show in England.
hell yeah. Are you
But
going to England?
this is the outside corner, the mud applicator. Can-Am has such good packaging and like tools.
Yeah.
I love them. They do a really good job. Yeah, I'm going to England in June. These guys, they took a page out of your book, dude. This guy. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Oh yeah.
Look at the wings. So this is how this holds the mud against the
Yeah.
wall.
I need to have a look at it a little bit better.
This holds the mud against the wall, but see the circles there? See the design on that? That's a spring.
Is that a new corner or that's a
Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
It's not on the market
Wow,
yet.
that looks so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Wow. That is like the McLaren of corner rollers.
It is, dude. And like just well, they gave away one last month, but yeah, look at that baby. Look at those springs. That's a spring.
If they wanna give away another one, I'll do it on the page.
Isn't that pretty? And then this is new as well, but it's in the box. I can't really maybe I should take it out. I don't know, but yeah, they've got the you've worked with Can-Am a little bit designing the ball and how you design your attachment, correct?
That so my attachment came from Colombia, the
Oh,
metal
okay.
plate. But
Oh,
the way their clip attaches inspired me. So I looked at that and I went, the way they designed that is cool, and I'm going to apply that to the morph. Like I'm going to be completely honest there. I didn't like go, hey, can we work together? I just looked at it and I went, that's cool, and I had a lot of respect for Can-Am, and I'm gonna apply that the way that mounts to the more standard. You can see like the channeling going down,
Right.
and that
This
just
is the
it
this is the
it makes it makes
that's the picture. That's the front picture of the
yeah, it makes everything stronger because rather than the pieces that hold the clip being a separate part, it's like all integrated. And I like that. I was like, that's a really cool design. So I was like, I'm gonna, borrow a little bit of that. I have a lot of respect for Can-Am and I have a lot of respect for the way they do business. I think Wolfgang really cares. And I don't think
yeah.
there's a lot of that I don't think there's a lot of that in the building industry, but I don't think there's a lot of that in the world at the moment. I think them are really good. And I think Colombia is also really good. Um, you know, I think they're both really cool. They're my I don't use a lot of their tools because I'm a sander, but
Yeah.
they're some of my favorite tool companies because I like their vision. You know what I mean? Um, you got to take inspiration from the world. You're an artist yourself.
Yeah.
Every bit of art comes from inspiration from things
Well,
that you see.
well, and it was Columbia early on that was
Mm,
so supportive of the Drywall podcast. I was, you know,
mm,
14 episodes in or something, and Aaron called me,
mm,
and he was like, "Hey, man, this is cool. Do you know Brad at CSR?" And
mm,
and that opened up a lot for me. Like, but he didn't
mm,
know, he didn't know too much about my product, but he was willing to
mm,
help. Wolfgang, same
mm.
thing. He came in, he was willing to help. Joe Koenig with Trimtex,
Mm,
just
mm,
a millionaire willing to help, like little me. And that's
yeah,
different. That's a different way of doing business. And he's not just doing that with me, he does that with everybody. Like that's how they are with
yeah,
everybody. So,
yeah.
um,
I like them all. Like like with Trim Tex, I roasted the block. But that was just like a little bit of a joke marketing thing towards the corner sander. But I think his videos are really cool. I like it. It's like got a bit of a personal brand sort of feel to it. And I respect all these big guys. And again, there's something about I don't know I don't know what it is, but there's something special about Canadians. Just the culture and the way they support each other. Um, and I didn't see it until I started dealing with Canadians, over the internet. But I was like, I'm getting so much support from Canadians, companies and businesses that I wasn't getting here. Like there was a lot more gatekeeping here. But the people here are great. But I just felt like there was a bit of gatekeeping. It was very hard to get in to shops around here. But in Canada, my stuff got into CSR before it got into any shop in Australia. And I was trying for ages. And I just went, you know what, I'm just going to sell online. And then they approached me. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just thought these people are all really lovely. They actually care. And yeah, there's competition, but when one has a win, they're like, congratulations. And I think that's really cool. I can definitely respect that because I'm exactly the same way. And like, Columbia reached out to me and they said, "Do you have a patent?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to get a patent because if anyone can make a better product than me, so be it." And he's just like, "Yeah, but what if someone got your exact product and released it exactly the way it is and then started making money of it? Wouldn't you be annoyed?" And I'm like, wow, I didn't really think of it like that because like my product was like my artwork. I'm an artist. That's why my Santa looks the way it looks, is because, I was doing 3D design and art before I did the product. And that's why my products weren't amazingly robust to begin with until I learned engineering, but they looked beautiful. So and if someone took that art away from me and started like plagiarizing it, I would have felt really upset. Do you know what I mean? And he approached me about that, and I was like, man, no one, no one else did that. And CSR helped me, and they said, you need to talk to Columbia. You need to talk, to Wolfgang from Can-Am. These guys will help you. And it was like this little bit of mentoring that
Yeah.
really helped
Well,
a
and
lot.
still they do that. Like, they've been
Yeah.
down, they realize this path of being a product manufacturer in the drywall industry is extremely challenging. And there's, you get over one hurdle and there's just another one in front of you. And
Yeah.
it's just constant. It's so strange.
It's difficult, but the thing is how I get through it is like I think the mission is bigger than me. My mission, you know, I want tradies to make more money, and I want them to have an easier time. I want them to have the tools. Like, they think, oh, does this exist? And oh, why isn't it made? I want Morph to be making those tools or helping people who are making those tools get to the tradies who need them. And that's like the mission. That's the mission forward. And I want good customer service, um, and a good product. And I think that, being a tradie is hard enough as it is that they deserve it. And that is the mission that drives it forward. If the mission was about money, I would have given up a long time ago because I can just go sand. I can make $1,000 a day easily sanding drywall, because I've got a really good system there. So
Yeah.
if
I
it
was
was,
thinking about it the other day. I was like, I could have just kept doing beautiful walls, and I've got a job in over in Oregon. This dude's flying me somewhere. Like I could have doubled down on that and really like
yeah.
made some good money.
Yeah, and then franchise, become a billionaire. Like when you were in that, you're probably thinking, "Oh, I'm going to release a product and it's going to be so much easier." And then you look back and you're like, "Man, I could make that business, that service-based business, so much bigger now that I have the knowledge that I have now." But you're just like, you have this passion for. There's this passion for creating a product that someone else is using because it's like people are
Yeah,
spreading
it's
your
fun.
around the world.
It's
You
so
know that?
cool and it's so fun and it's fulfilling on different levels that
Yeah,
that supersede monetary gain.
yeah,
The
of course.
challenge, like just like, oh, this company, I had an experience recently where a company like took my stuff off the shelf. Like, they had like an exclusive deal. They had it in one store, but I'm showing all these sales in this area. And
Yeah.
I go to the area and I'm like, "Hey man, we're getting sales here. Like, what's going on?" And in the area, they took it off the shelf and they're promoting another product that's way more expensive, super complicated. And I'm like, no, and they didn't tell me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they're still selling the product. Like I'm driving sales to the retailer, but they took it out of the store.
And
And
and, and
this
and
is what I'm up against. Like
and see, this is the thing that I really, really am passionate about creating is a platform with no gatekeepers. The platform is what gets shared on the platform is only what's good. And people will use the platform because they find good stuff. And the the idea is that there's no gatekeepers. People can, if the product's good, it'll do well, and it'll get promoted. The platform will promote it automatically using artificial intelligence. And basically, rather than one big company owning everything, it'll be people selling their best product. And the thing is if you've got a really, really good product, like one really good product, you only need that one really good product. Like people don't actually realize and they keep releasing products. This is what I did to begin with. If you spend the same kind of money marketing the one product that does really well, you'll be
mhm.
surprised at how many people out there will buy it. I just think products will become better that way. And of course, big legacy companies like Milwaukee and stuff like that, and of course, like Can-Am, Columbia and stuff, they're all going to exist. But what I mean is, there isn't going to be someone who says, "Oh, sorry, we can't sell your product in this area because we have an exclusive deal with these guys." I think that is Like I really don't like that. I
There's a
don't like
couple
that.
there's a couple things, and I was talking about with Wolfgang, and it goes along the lines of gatekeeping. But there's two things, like the retailers don't sell the product. Like it's relied on me to sell the product. Like so they'll
Yeah.
do some advertising, but if a product isn't moving or it's not one of the top 5 brands that are pushing the income for the store, they don't give a shit about it. If it's not, because they're selling truckloads, hundreds of thousands of dollars of USG. So those fat cats are sitting up there. They don't have to do much. They don't have to come up with new ideas. They earn their check. They look at the bottom line. They move on with their day.
Yeah.
But there's no room.
And
Like in tech, they're constantly looking for new ideas. The only way to
yeah.
drive new ideas is to promote them. And it's like, I'm over
Well,
here. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to sell online. Like, if you guys want to sit on a product, go sit on it. If you want to sell it,
well,
sell it.
well, this is the thing, right? So you had like I basically want to be like Steve Jobs in truck. And the thing is before Steve Jobs, everything was just ugly online. There wasn't really anything beautiful, and he made it beautiful. And the thing is like you go on websites, and there's so many beautiful websites. Like the world online looks beautiful and engaging. The thing is um, I just think that when everything is about the money, you stop thinking about how things look like, and how things are and the experience and everything. I don't know if that makes a lot of
Well,
sense,
now,
but
yeah, now think about like sheetrock and mud
yeah.
and how
Mm,
long that stuff has been around. Hasn't been,
mm,
hey, we got a new dustless. It's
mm,
there's no sexiness, for lack of a better term, in this industry. And I deal in specialty beautiful walls. Like it
mm,
couldn't be farther from,
mm,
sanding a wall.
mm.
Like it's way over
Yeah,
here. It's way, and then I'll go talk like, the plaster guys, and then the plaster guys are like, oh, well, that's not plaster. It's like that's just drywall mud, and it's like, well, who gives a shit if it looks the same? But I'm
exactly.
introduced.
Well, so that's like this on the wall behind me, right? That I had people getting all annoyed about I was sanding it and polishing it and that, and they're like, you don't need to do that with Venetian. A true Venetian artist doesn't need to do that. And I'm like, it's not Venetian. It's literally sand and cement mixed with oxide. We mixed it up ourselves and slapped it on the wall.
Yeah,
And the thing
it
is,
looks great.
as long as it looks beautiful, and it doesn't matter. It's about the process. Like with
Well,
Freshco, what we've created.
I streamlined it. Like I was like, well, why are they
Yeah, you
doing it
you
that way?
zero.
Just use this thing, and this is really cheap. You can dump this in, and it keeps. You don't have to throw it out. And there were all these like benefits, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm gonna keep it. I don't want to tell anybody. Now it's like, it's so hard to sell because there's this a rigidity. And then you get to the retailer, and there's the gatekeeping. It's like, well, yeah, I don't know. I've never been, but all I know is that it works. This works, and it's really cool, and it's super efficient.
The the big thing to sell a product is you need the tradies to be passionate about it. And the way to get them passionate about it is attack a pain point. So like for example, there's this monotonous day in, day out. Everything's the same with plastering every single day, and it's the same walls. Every now and then, break it up and do a fresh coat wall, and
Yeah.
you're like,
You can see the shift when they do a fresco wall. Like there's a little shift there. And you saw Jamie for a little period of time there, like he got like super excited, like he was going crazy.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it tapped into that artistic. It lives in there, that like little artist side. And
yeah,
I think it lives in most drywallers because we're artists. We like the mud for some weird reason.
Every tradie's an artist because most tradies don't do well at school or they drop out. They got ADHD, they're like distracted by everything. They're not like a sit down kind of person. They need to do something. And their expression is through the trade and creating. Like an artist is just someone who creates something and brings it to the world, who manifests an idea and turns it into a physical thing. That's what an
Yeah.
artist is. So
Beautiful
like you're tapping
that's a
in.
beautiful definition. I mean, like just the podcast, I get to make
Yeah,
the cover piece. I get to write some copy. I get to have
yeah.
the interaction. It's all art, when you're creating
Yeah.
something.
If you can tap into the emotion that they feel and that lostness they feel of not being able to express themselves, and you can tap into that with Freshco, you'll have no worries selling it. You to begin with, you're just going to have to find a way to go direct to consumer and then bring all of the retailers to you because the so many people want it, and that's the you know, but I'm hoping once I get this platform up and going that there will be like a real way for people to get out there because I after I released my tool, I searched the web and I would see these videos go viral and the person's not selling the product. No, I'd inbox them and I'd say, "Hey, mate, man, the way your product is going viral, I'm just gonna say, look, you've got something here, okay? You need to get on top of it." And then they get on top of it, and then they're selling the product to people, and I'm just like, man, this is a thing. This is a thing. I need to help this because um, there's this one guy I've seen recently, and I want to help him when I get a bit of time, but created a I created a belt holster, which is like a metal strip, and you can put your drill on there. But if you put your drill on your holster, now you can't use your pockets. So it will go here, and he can slide the drill across on the rail, put stuff in his pocket, and slide it back across. And I was like, that is brilliant. And that is such a good idea. That is such a good idea. Actually, an issue, and I'm like, it's such a niche idea that a big would be like, I'm not making that. It's too niche. Like we're not doing that. But a single can release a hero product like that, and I want to make it frictionless and ability for people to be able to bring things to that world so that the world can become beautiful, everyone's creation instead of this gatekeeper who's like, this is how I want the world to be, like how I see it. No, the world needs to be everyone needs to contribute to the world. That's why there's so many depressed people who kill themselves, who fucking go inside of themselves, and then their whole life goes by, and then they die, and they're standing there in front of their kids, and they're like, I mean, laying there in front of their kids, and they're telling their kids, like, I regret not. Like, taking action. That's what happened with my father. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing that. And when I figure out the formula, I need to help other people have that because it's awakened me. I was very a sad person. It's awakened me, and I just would I'd like other people to be able to experience that. And I feel and another thing is like once you get to a certain age as a trader, you can't work anymore. Like how are you supposed to express yourself? And these are the kind of people who have had years of experience who should be making the tools, but some dickhead sitting in an office who's never touched a
Yeah.
tool said, no, nah, no. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
But what you're talking about is a little different. And what I like about this idea is that you've and you had some good background. I listened to our last episode. Like you had some of that training, that background training. I love how you took that training and like implemented it into something that you were doing to create something new. But beyond that, you took the other training, that other marketing training, and I see you like having a lot of fun with that marketing training. And that's why I was like, dude, if I was gonna hire, I wouldn't hire a marketing firm. I'd like call James, and I'd be like, dude, I'll pay 10 grand. You're gonna do way more for me than any marketing firm, especially in this space.
I have the mentality of teach a man to fish kind of thing. So I don't like the education system. I think the education system sucks people dry and rots them and puts them in debt and just doesn't really. A lot of people don't even use their education. Mind you, some people do, and there's very specific things that require that. But
Absolutely.
going into uni right now, young with AI and everything, that's pretty fucking, it's pretty risky. I think that people should be learning of people who have experience directly doing what they're teaching. And the thing is, a lot of these teachers, all they've done is teach. That does make sense. Why are you teaching something you've only taught? Like it doesn't make sense. I don't want to learn about business from someone who, who I don't want to learn business from someone who's only taught it. So like you got like an MBA, right? And
Yeah.
you'll spend $100,000 getting this MBA, and but I just went down to Melbourne recently and did a compressed course, which was with one of Australia's biggest venture capitalists, and I spent $7,000 for 4 days, and I learned in that period, acquisition, like how to acquire business, how to sell a business, how to grow a business, and how to do all these various things. And I learned more in that than what I learned studying business at TAFE, the TAFE course cost me like $30,000. And I learned more in those few days.
Well, you've been doing
And
more for a year. I mean, imagine the life lessons.
yeah, like someone like me should, like, if someone wants to do what I'm doing, wouldn't it make sense to learn from someone like me rather than to learn from a teacher who's never done it? It does make a lot of sense. And that's the thing. So like I could start a firm and teach people how to do it, but if I was to do it, my mindset would be uh more along the lines of, I'll come in, you pay us, and I'll set up an SOP that you can follow and give to someone or give to AI, and it'll just do it for you, and you'll understand it and you'll be able to control it completely. Because if someone
That
else is
algorithm
controlling,
tracker that you were talking about, that would be a good
mm,
like, you could sell
yeah,
that.
well,
Like dude, here's an algorithm, blah blah blah. All you have to do is
yeah,
X, Y, and Z. I mean, I guess people kind of do try to
well,
market things like that.
so I just think people should own their own marketing and own their own data. If you got a marketing team doing everything for you, what happens if they leave? What happens if they decide to put up the prices and you can't afford it? And you have all these employees. You need to own your own data. That's really important as a
Well, and
CEO. You need
social
your
media
own.
too. Like these bigger companies, man. It's like you can have your little social media person, but you know what? It bugs me that I'm always liking this company's stuff and they never like anything of mine. There's no interaction. The videos
Yeah,
are all boilerplate, and
yeah,
that CEO doesn't have a clue what's going on Instagram on their
yeah.
page. I'm like, if you don't
And
want to do it, man, don't do it.
And that's a huge thing that I'm working on at the moment with automation, is like I'm trying to automate everything that doesn't require like my personality. That way I can focus on engaging with people and being more social, because I've been working so much, it's been hard to be social. And I'm just like, man, I need to be talking to the customers. These are the people who are supporting me, but I'm not engaging with them the way I should be. And it's just like it keeps me awake, and I'm like, I need to automate everything so I can get on top of that, because that is that like people want a connection. It's really, there's no connection in this world anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's we've lost this, like, everyone's online and they're watching reels and they're not connecting with
Mm.
each other.
And I just got off the phone with a
Yeah.
dude, that's making knives, accurate knife, that accurate knife dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you want to make a knife? What's wrong with the knives that are on the market? Like, but my curiosity is like, why did you want to make a knife? And what is the knife all about? Or even like these. So these are like little,
Mm.
they're like little, they remind me of like the wipes out in the wild where you get like you can
Yeah.
take, I backpack, so you can take like wipes and you can get them wet and it makes like a little cloth,
Yeah.
but they're
Mm.
like vacuum packed.
Mm.
That you get these wet and then you put it in the hole and it turns into like a fill.
Mm.
And then you have like a tool that you can, and it's not
Mm.
for the drywaller. Like you can imagine the
Mm.
backlash this guy's gotten. I can go through, I can patch all the holes in my house. Like, but it's not
Mm.
for those people. This is for like people that are renting. They got holes all over their apartment. They want to get their deposit back. That's who this is for, you know?
That's cool.
And it's
That's
an
cool.
interest, and he's a cool
But
guy.
the DIY market is so much more profitable as well if you can crack that.
They don't care
And
about, and I was looking at, I just went in, so I had a couple holes that I filled. I was going to make a video and use the mud plug, but I had a
yeah,
bucket of mud out in my garage. I went out and
yeah,
scooped out just a little bit of mud. And then I was thinking to myself, when I scooped out the mud, I was like,
mm,
they make just little tubs of spackle.
mm,
Like it doesn't occur to
yeah,
them they can get an entire bucket of mud for $10 or $12.
yeah.
I take a little bit of mud and I go in the house and I fix 12 holes, you know.
What is something that every home has? And he's like, I don't know, like a fire extinguisher. And I said, no, a first aid kit. So why don't you make a plaster kit packed like a first aid kit and put it in every hardware? And I'm like,
Well, okay,
you
let
made
me
it.
let me pause you. The drywall doctor made one. We had
Oh,
him on the
really?
show. We had him on the show, and it's like a little first aid kit with
But does it
drywall
look
shit.
like a first aid kit? Does it look
Yes.
like a first aid kit? Dude, that's see there. But
I'll
it's
sell,
when wa-
I'll share the episode with you.
when was he on?
Ah, I mean, I could look it up, but we talk about it. We
Was
talk about
was it
his little
recent?
kit,
Was it recently?
and it comes with a little roll of tape, little
Yeah,
plastic knife.
was it recent?
Maybe it's hard for me to because it's been 4 years now. I've been doing the podcast, but I pretty
See,
recent, maybe around 100.
yeah, see, this is the thing, right?
This is the
So
thing. Well, there's lots of patching kits too, but look at this fucking thing, and he's got different sizes, man. But look at the
yeah,
packaging too, and he's got this little stinger, and then
it's so cool.
those spread the mud.
That's so
These
cool.
you put them in water and it activates. They're little like gypsum fucking pellets, and you put it in the hole and they expand, and you wipe it away. Done.
Dude, he's gonna do so well.
I
He's
know.
gonna
He was. I
he's gonna
know. It's so stupid
he's
and
gonna
so great.
he's gonna crush it. He's gonna
trim,
crush it. He's
trim carpenter. Trim carpenter. He was like, because they patched the holes in the trim with like little dowels.
yeah, he's gonna crush it. He's gonna turn over like $20 million a year. Like
He'll
he,
just get bought. He'll just get bought out. I'm really interested in you not like selling out. I think that's really smart because a business is fun to build. I'm always curious too about how is James shipping all over the place. You just ship everywhere, and it doesn't seem like I just shipped this stuff to Paul and Bridget, and it was $100 for like 2 quarts of sealer, which is enough to do 300 square feet, mind you, in a little, nice little box. So it ships pretty nice.
you gotta change who you're doing the post through for international. So for me to ship to Canada, if I was to send one morph sander, it would cost me about $30, $30 to $40. Sometimes in America it'll be $30, but sometimes it'll be $100 because America's got some places that are like really hard to get to. And the stinger on America is the tariffs that just came in. They've screwed me over. Actually,
Yeah.
I had so recently I had about 50 packages rejected by customs for absolutely no reason, and it cost me about $5,000 like out of my pocket. And what I did was I just resent everything again. I just sent it and said, "Hey, I'm resending," and I added extra products into all the packages, resent it. I had a couple negative reviews. Luckily on like a discontinued product, I discontinued on my website, so it doesn't matter too much. But I had a couple negative reviews about it just taking a long time to get there, which is out of my control. But it was just, yeah, it cost me like 5 grand. But I was like, these people bought it. I've just got to suck it up and just take the blow on it. But
Was this the
yeah.
retail deal you were talking about earlier?
So no, I was doing direct to consumer. I was doing direct
Don't
to
be,
consumer.
don't, if you're listening, don't be confused. James probably has his fair share of challenges. with the morphs. Not all. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Oh no, um it right now I have enough product to I have enough product to get me through another week, materials, another week, and then I have nothing. And I have a shitload of product on the way, but it's because of this fuel thing, fuel issue, everything's being held. They're like, oh, you paid this amount, and it's like it's just not. It's I've I've spent all my money on this material, and I'm just waiting for it. And it's like, what am I gonna do? I've got you know 10 grand worth of material, and I had to basically I had an order I was going to send to CSR. I had to cut that order in half. I had to put Manners order on hold. Right. So I got like a big order going to CSR, which was worth like around 10K wholesale. I had to cut that in half, and Manners I had another one for like five. I had to cut that off until all of this is over. And the like retail is what keeps the steady cash flow, and then like just that steady everything out, and then direct to consumer is just like really like up and down. And like most of my money is made in direct to consumer. I make direct to consumers. It's so much easier to control and market. Like if I could control the pipeline through these distributors and do the marketing and do the ads and control their ads, I reckon I would make them like 10 times more than what they're making with me right now, because I know how to look at the data and control it and distribute to the right people to buy. And
Right.
like I know how to push ads, I know how to do all that. But it's just like really hard when their e-commerce store is like, they've got a certain way that things function and whatnot. So like the direct to consumer, I do much better in that. But the the wholesale, it's just steady. It stays like the same constantly. Like it's like every month you got this much coming in. So you can always go, okay, I'm sweet with that. But the other thing about it is it gives you a little bit of authority, like a bit of trust, because people are in construction, people are still not used to direct to consumer. They're used to buying in shops. Like a lot of guys will message me and say, "Where can I buy your product?" Because they still don't trust online. And like
Mm.
there's still some like teaching them that process in a way.
Have you gotten
Um,
approached by larger distribution outfits though? Like where you can
yeah,
get
yeah, like
into more?
yeah, like I've gotten approached by some bigger ones, but I don't really care too much for the bigger ones that much. I prefer just people like I prefer like CSR and Pro
Mm.
Plaster and stuff like that, which are more niche. Because the
Okay.
problem is when you go bigger and you got DIY people buying the Morph Sander, and then they're like, oh, the Morph Sander won't fit on the pole, the painter's pole, and then they're leaving negative reviews and having bad experiences. I need to create a DIY version, and then I'll go to bigger guys. But the problem is,
Don't you have a screw-on ball for a paint pole? I think CSR
um,
has
I
one.
I need to. It's like two different things that you got to join together, I think. I've got a few
Uh,
of those. Yeah, I've got a few of those coming in, but the big one that I need to design my own where it's all just combined, and it needs to be no more than $50. Like, and for a DIY, $50 is quite expensive. And so my mindset is if I do it, I create that ball. That ball will be the expensive part of it. That's like one thing I would get made in China. If I was going to get something made in China, I get that made in there until I have sold enough of those balls that I can buy a CNC machine and have it here. Because the CNC machine's like in Australia, a good CNC machine's like 300 grand. Australia is very expensive because you got to think that has to be freighted here, and we're like all on our own. It's like just like the Dodge, the the Chevy Silverados, for example, a Chevy Silverado over here is like between 2 to 300K for like one of the really, really good ones. Whereas, like a souped up one, or if you want to buy just a stock standard one, you're looking at like almost 200 grand. But in America, they're like $40,000. Like everything
Mhm.
here is just so expensive, and we get taxed. And it's so if I create something, I need to create a DIY product. Um, and I want to keep the majority of it made in Australia, and then the fixtures on it I'll get made in China, so that it's like a collaborative thing.
Well,
Um,
that DIY though isn't Morph more for professionals than DIY people?
it's
DIY aren't
it's
sand in hundreds of corners.
No, they're not. They're not. But the thing is about DIYers is when someone is DIYing something around their house, they will walk through that DIY section and just buy everything. They'll be like, yeah, I'll need this. I need this. I need this. Because I've had a few DIY guys see my stuff on TikTok and they buy it and they're like, we don't have a painter's pole, and this doesn't fit a painter's pole, and they're like freaking out, and they're like going, oh, I can't afford $300 for a thing, and I'll just jump on plastering.com. I'll buy that attachment, which is like $60 for the whole thing, and I'll just send it to them. Just because I'm just like, they were confused. They didn't read my thing properly. I'm just going to send this to them so that, like, they stop freaking out. I know, and I
Fascinating.
know, I know I'm not obligated to do that, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I care too much about
Yeah.
the people. But the thing is,
Well,
the,
you have so many good skill sets. There's so much going on in that noggin of yours. I love it. Um,
it's
I'm really
easier.
impressed. I'm really impressed with what you've done. I can see there's a different energy about you than from a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
One,
I've got a lot
you've got a
more
great
confidence
sign.
now.
You do. You know,
Yeah,
you do. Before it was more excitement. It was more excitement and uncertainty. Now it's like now you're shifting more into direction and
yeah,
like authority,
yeah,
which is great.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's cool. It's cool to see. My caution would be around. You touched on it a little bit with balance. Now, one of the
with
beauties
what?
of balance,
Yep, yep,
balance. One of the beauties with the slow growth of Fresco Harmony, because it's still doing fine.
yeah.
It's not. I'm making sales. It's fine, but the slow
You'll
growth
do
has.
really well in Australia
I think so.
because um these kind of finishes are starting to take off in Australia really like
Well, and
and
they're hard to do. Like people that have been doing those finishes for a long time, even like the pros are like, their shoulders are wearing out and stuff. It's like just easier on the body, like
well the
regardless of
big thing
anything
about
else.
Fresco Harmony. The big thing about Fresco Harmony is the fact that you got it in that little bottle and you can use it with whatever compound. The thing that's so big about it is you can ship that anywhere in the world
Yeah.
and it's going to cost you $20 to ship. Like, so you're saying it's $100. It's going to be about $20 if you work out your shipping logistics.
Imagine shipping plaster to do 300 square feet. How much that would
Yeah,
be.
you couldn't do it. So you
And you'd have to deal with temperature. So temperature is a big deal when you're shipping plaster as well.
you just need to work out that pain point, and you need to
Yeah.
honestly that's huge.
But
You just
balance. the
Yeah,
the
one.
the the slow growth has enabled me to really find balance. Like it's not, I don't need to make $1 million. I'd rather go to my son's soccer game than work on product. I need to get this product out, but that's been a blessing. My caution to you would be keep a firm grip on that fast growth so that you don't get out of balance, because then it's mental health, relationship suffers, these types of things.
Yeah, yeah, it's man, like I've been working about 7 days a week for as long as I can remember at this point. Like my memory is not
Yeah.
very long at this point. Um, but so recently, probably for the past 2 months, I've been starting. I like to start at 4 a.m., but there's been a couple of days where I just can't get out of bed at 4 a.m. But I'll start at 6 a.m. at the latest, and then I leave the warehouse at 2 a.m. and I sleep for a couple hours, and I get back up and start again. And it's just because I'm just building that platform for one. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the thing is I was just looking at how hard it was to get in for me, and I was just lucky that I had a product that was easy to describe because of the pain point. And I was just thinking like,
No,
I don't have much.
I wouldn't downplay it, James. I was nervous about your product, especially after showing it in at CSR. Like we've been talking about CSR. Like it didn't get like I was like, but I didn't know what to think because I don't sand every day anymore.
Mm,
But the people were looking
mm,
at it, they were like, oh, but a lot of people didn't pay attention. A lot of people we
mm,
mentioned in this podcast, like, were indifferent
mm,
about it, that are
mm.
now big champions of it.
Yeah,
And that is a testament to your ability to not only explain the product, market the product, sell the product.
yeah,
Don't downplay it's you, man. I mean, a product is a
yeah.
certain thing, but that individual that's backing it, that's championing it.
I'll give you a bit of context. So when so growing up, so when I was like in grade two, I was diagnosed with Asperger's autism, and it was actually really bad. Like I couldn't talk properly. I was ostracized from everyone. I had to have like a teacher. I was in special school. It was like a co-ed special school. I wasn't like very good. Like, and I just wanted to be normal and be like everyone else and just not everyone that this issue. Back then it was like 1 in 1,000 people or something had it. And it was just I didn't want anyone to know about it. I just wanted to be normal. So what I did was I studied people and I studied because I just didn't really come normal to me. So I studied people to see what they did and how things worked. And I got it rather than looking through my perception, I looked at it through other people's perception. So like when I think of and you need to sell it, I really put myself in that person's frame of mind and go, how would they perceive the way that this is viewed? Like, is this understandable? Like, and it's just made me very good um at branding and giving a message for the product. Like for example, like with Fresh, I would be going direct to consumer with the product. I would attack the pain point of heavy items, like being able to move them. I would be touching into the artist side.
That's funny. I was messaging with Paul and Bridget, and I was like, yeah, it's really, knowing they're in Australia, I was like, well, I'm sending you X, Y, and Z.
Australia.
It's really easy to ship. And they were like, oh, we like things that are easy to ship. But I knew that.
Shipping is the biggest throttle. And the thing is so because your item is so much lighter to ship, things in Australia are really expensive because of how much it costs to ship here. But you bring that shipping down and you ship it here and it's cheap, your product is going to be really good and cheaper compared to everything else. And people are going to be like, oh, so I have this $7,000 wall I've got to do, or this $20,000 wall I've got to do, and it's gonna cost me, a few $100
It
instead
can
of
cost you 10,000.
thousands of
It can
dollars.
cost you, yeah, 5,000 in product or 500.
Exactly, and that's going to be huge for Australians because we get rorted with materials in Australia are so expensive. It's so expensive to get stuff done in Australia. So if you can crack that market, and these finishes are really starting to take off. And what you need to go is right now at the moment. you've got the Italian stucco guys, and it's like there's a big group called like Venetian Plaster, and they're selling all their products, and their products for a bucket like this big is like three or four
Five,
hundred dollars.
yeah, it's the same here.
And,
It's like crazy expensive.
and the thing is you've just got to compare yourself and say, hey, we're not marble, we're not a micro marble cement, but we are trying to achieve that look. And I show like people who have, like, if you can get in that DIY market, that'd be big. But if you can get into the tradies market where they just want to put something on the wall, it's easy. I know a lot of, so I used to
Yeah,
do um, uh, a render, which is exterior plaster and Venetian. So this is like what my job used to be. I used to do, I did sanding for much longer, but I did this, and that's how I did that wall. And like that wall was hard to do because we just cheaped out with everything and didn't use a proper product. I'm just like, you can have these finishes on your wall that look beautiful. Like, you don't want a white wall behind your TV. You want that wall behind your TV. You want that wall behind your fireplace. You want that wall. You want that wall next to your pool.
yeah,
You don't want some plaster wall. You want something that can get wet. Like, um,
yeah,
you and it's easy to market. It's beautiful, and if your product's easy to use, and you can show that, and say, hey, look, because we're cheaper, you can actually start making some money out of that. Speak to tradies; they want to just make more money, especially in Australia. Like
yeah, yeah.
Australian tradies are like real hustlers, and they make like bank. But so if you can get something out cheaper to them and
This last
express that
job,
to them.
James, I did a wall, an accent wall, a fireplace, and two niches. It took me 8 hours. One box of mud, one quarter sealer, 1,600
That's
bucks.
so good. Bro, this wall took me like just that wall alone took me like a whole day.
And then I went back because I have a 1,600 minimum, and she wanted the powder room done. I was like, well, I gotta charge you, and she was like, well, the tile is gonna be more anyways. Like, don't worry about it. The builder, the cheapest person on the job, is like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. Now the
You
1,600
know,
that took me 4 hours. That with the stripes on the wall that I just posted,
mm,
4 hours.
you know what the big thing, you know what the big thing you can get, you can really attack is, so when we're doing Venetian walls, you'd get shitloads of product, and the problem is like realistically you should get a deposit, but a lot of people, it's not like a culture in Australia to get a deposit on things like this. It's not.
Okay.
The homeowner will be like, "What?" Unless it's through a builder or something. But if you're just doing a reno or something, nah, it's not too common.
Okay.
So the if the problem is owners will change their mind. You'll get all of this micro cement. You'll have $8,000 worth of product, and the homeowner will go, you put a bit on the wall, and they'll go, oh, is that what it looks like? And it's like
Yeah.
you literally pointed to the card on this paper what it looked like, and they're like, oh, I'm like, don't be like this. You got $8,000 worth of product here. Fresco Harmony is not going to be that, and the homeowner doesn't know the difference. Okay, you get a really good salesman who goes, oh, this is a Murano. Well, it's beautiful. You know what Murano is? It's literally acrylic based. So
Yeah.
it's like a plastic. So and but they'll market it. It's like how this it
Yeah.
you just say,
I've
look,
started telling people don't worry about telling them that it's like plaster versus mud. It's just an affordable plaster.
what you say to them, you say, look, we can chuck a marble on the wall and it's gonna look pretty good. It's kind of hard to describe to you what it's gonna look exactly like. But this fresco we can chuck on the wall is gonna be a lot cheaper. You're not gonna have to put a deposit down, and it's gonna look exactly the same. And it's just gonna be an easy sale. People, pe- People
Yeah.
are tight asses for the most part,
Yeah.
especially now. Everything's expensive, but I've seen the fresco walls. They look good. So
Mhm.
who cares what it's made from if it looks good,
No shit.
you know? And it's the,
I'll tell you, the builder doesn't really care. At the end of the day,
no, they don't. They don't.
the homeowner just wants it flat. They're not, They're not going to put a light on it to see how, they just want
They
it, they
don't.
want it to look like plaster. Oh, it looks like plaster. Well, I can get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
And the thing is in Australia, renderers don't like renderers struggle to make money from rendering, so they go over to Venetian. And if you can bring out a cheaper product where they can make more money, they will push that product so hard. And rendering's really big here. So if and in like in the Gold Coast, for example, all the homes in the Gold Coast have walls like this. It's like
Uh,
it's just and they pay heaps for it. Like so there's a huge market for it in Melbourne. The market for it in Melbourne is massive. Um, and everyone, like all the new homes have feature walls and stuff. So you got a massive market there.
yeah.
You've
And you always get the plaster guys that are like, well, yeah, but it's Venetian plaster though. Don't talk bad about my Venetian plaster. It's like,
they've
who
been
cares?
a lot of the people who do Venetian plaster will
Golly.
get very defensive of
Mm-hmm.
the system in which it's done.
Yes.
And the reason why is because the material isn't made. It's not. Venetia plaster sucks at sticking to the wall. You have to prepare it in a very specific way, otherwise it will not hold. Whereas
Nightmare.
the whereas actual plaster and render and sand and cement, it sticks to the wall.
Yeah.
You just put it on a key coat and it sticks to the
Yeah.
wall with the
Mud.
plaster. It's going on
You
drip rub. It
could
just
I
sticks.
could mud over that black wall. I could mud right over
Like,
that with a white color.
and the other thing about what you have, the biggest thing is you can patch it. You can't fucking patch
Or you just
Venetian.
reskim the whole wall. Like people are blown
But
away. Like, oh, and it keeps in the bucket. Like it's not going to go off. It's like, yeah, it's
but but the fact that you can patch it a bit. If you try and patch this, it's gonna be so hard to patch it because it's not a plaster. And then Venetian's even harder. You can't patch
Fresco
it because it's
Harmony
not
can be
done.
challenging, but you can. But if I do have to reskim the wall, it's really not a big deal. You're
And
just,
it, and it and it's cheap. But if you have to reskim that whole wall and it's Venetian, you're gonna
pain in
spend
the
like
ass.
at least 8 grand. You're gonna spend like 8 grand just
Crazy.
to reskim that wall. It's crazy how expensive it is, eh? So
It's like 30 cents a square foot, like material costs for fresco. But we're working on it. We're getting there. This was fantastic, James. I like the enthusiasm heading in and all of the marketing conversation. I'm super proud of you, man. Be careful. With my only caution, bud, don't like burn out. It's and I mean
I
that's an
know,
easy
yeah.
trap because you have a good product and you're really good at marketing. So you've driven like this. You've created sort of a monster. My only caution would be like, be careful. Don't burn yourself out too much. Just be careful with that.
I wouldn't fully sell, but I have looked at potentially selling a little bit of equity for investment
Yeah.
to just take the load off myself a little
Take the
bit and then
pressure
focus
off.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd do that. I just wouldn't sell the whole thing because it's just so much that I want the business to do. Like as much as I could be like, yeah, I'll make money. It's more just I'm more concerned, well, are the customers going to get looked after when I go?
You went to a business training where you learned about.
So so the reason why I went to the business training is because I want to acquire I want to acquire an abrasive company and create the best sanding abrasives in the world,
Oh,
like for
cool.
plaster, for
Yeah.
plaster, and I want it to be made in Australia, and I want so right now I have to sell my sandpaper for like AUD is a bit different to Canadian, um, but it's about $35 for sandpaper for me to sell it here, and that's as cheap as I can sell it. And I choose to sell it because it's a really good product. Like it's Jost, and also CSR helped me out, and I like selling that product. But it most part is it's just a quality. But I would like to create an abrasive company where I can bring the price down, where people are paying $15 for a 5 pack. Because if people can pay $15 for a 5 pack, I sort of like crunched the numbers and I can make a lot of money because people, why would anyone else go to anyone but me if they can get that pack for $15? And then I'll get into sandpaper for power sanders and then, yeah, and then get into blocks and just take over the whole abrasive market. And I just feel like I understand it more. There's certain things that I want to create. I want to create an abrasive where the abrasive is, um, where the abrasive gradually feathers it out so that when you overlap with the machine, it's blending it constantly. So you're not seeing track marks with the machine. I want to do things like that. Just create. I could go get an abrasive made in China, but it wouldn't be unique. It'd be someone else's abrasive. I want to develop brand new abrasives, and bring them in at a cheaper price where people can afford them because it's not getting imported from another country. Because then I'm not in this business of selling to new customers. I'm in the business of just looking after my own customers. And then if people want to enter the market and get a morph sander, they can. And then the business can have steady money that comes in, and yeah, I just really want to buy an abrasive company, but it's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to cost me millions of dollars,
Yeah.
to buy an abrasive company. There's a few that I'm looking at, and I just want to learn how to approach these people and say, "Hey, look, I know you're a family business, and stuff like that. This is what I'm doing. This is the mission. Have you ever considered selling your business?" And chances are their kids don't want to take it over. And I'm like, look, I'm going to look after your customers. I understand it. This is what I want to do. And I'll just make them, a good offer that they can't refuse. And then I will have an abrasive company and create the best abrasives in the world and attach them to Morph. And
Love it.
from then, I can use that money to create other tools and go into, like, I'm not really going to necessarily create, um, I want to focus on sanding, but like Morph Sanding Solutions. But then I got Morph Tools, and Morph Tools is like more going to be the collaborative side of things where I bring in people who have created their own inventions, and that's what this platform is about. But it's just going to cost a lot of money to push that forward, so I need to have like abrasives to sort of. I know it's possible because you've got Merca. Merca, in my opinion, make the best abrasives. I reckon they make very, very good abrasives. Um, but they're not a drywall abrasive company. They make automotive and carpentry abrasives, and I know that I can understand the Australian market for plaster specific, and I want to make a specific abrasives just for plaster, um, and painters, and just make it where, because if I can make it feather, and doesn't leave track marks, and people don't need a pole after, and I can reduce all that load, I can make it even faster and cheaper. Why would anyone else go? Anyone but me? And if I've got 1,000 customers, I've got more than 1,000 customers. I've got quite like a lot more than that. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say I got 10,000. Let's say I got 10,000 customers, and they're each spending $15,000 on abrasives, and maybe not all the 10,000. Maybe only 1,000 of them are buying the abrasives, and they're spending, you know, $15 on braces. That's 1,000 customers spending that. That's 15 grand every single week just on abrasives without even just the sanders. And it can go a lot further than that, especially if people are buying it for their power sanders. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I worked it out in the current state that morphs in. If I was to get into abrasives and really nail that, I'd probably be able to do $100,000 weeks. And if I could do that, like that's a lot. That's a lot of money. If I could do that, then the things that I could do in the industry with that kind of money. I'm just worried because we got like our government saying, we're not building enough homes. We need to build this many homes. Oh, we've got to bring in this foreign labor. And I'm like, you're bringing in foreign labor, and we had 150,000 builders go bankrupt last year, and you're paying to import foreign labor, not foreign, not like you're importing foreign entities that are extracting money from our country. And we just had 150,000 builders go bankrupt last year. Are you mad? Why don't you keep those builders afloat so they can build the homes? And this is just things that
Yeah.
really piss me off. And if I can bring in that kind of money and like I can make changes to the building industry, because our government does not give a fuck about the people in here, and it really pisses me off. And
Yeah.
if our building industry dies, everyone in this country is fucked, and it really pisses me off. And
It's
like, I mean,
consistent. That's consistent though with most government entities. But I want to end on a good
well,
note, James. I want to end on a good note. So bring me a pearl. Bring me a pearl of wisdom that will inspire your fellow tradesmen. And make it short. We got to wrap.
we've only got one life, right? And you've just got to think, you've definitely got to make the most of your life and leave that impact on it, and you just don't want to regret it when you die. I know that's like cliche, but it's just when my dad died, he looked at me and I could tell that he like because I was there when he died, and he looked at me and I could tell that he didn't do the things that he wanted to do, and I came out of my body like it was like this spiritual experience, and I could see myself through his eyes, but it wasn't me, it was my future kid. And I was like, I can't have this happen. I need to inspire my kids and make sure that they can do anything that they want to do, and don't like if you think you can make the world a better place, because right now there's not enough good people in the world. If you can make this world a better place, then you should, because I just think there's too many people that don't care about others. And I just think I if you think things are bad, just try and change them. It's if we all try and change the world and make it a better place, how can people stop us? No one can stop
Mhm.
you from doing these things, and it's that no one can stop you. I'm telling you, the world is not the the world doesn't dictate what you do. You dictate what the world does. The world is malleable. Everything around you is malleable, right? Everything, you're
Yes.
the one who makes the world change. If we weren't here, nothing would be like ideas do not come to the world and just exist. We're the harbingers of ideas. We're the ones who make it manifest in this physical
Hmm.
world. Yeah, don't be afraid to make a good change to the world, because the evil people in this world are not afraid of anything. And if you're afraid, those evil people will take over the world, and we need to fight against that.
I agree.
So,
Fantastic. And couldn't agree more. It makes me think of think globally, act locally. Like, I do what I like. I do what I can. Um, the podcast has been like this,
it's
just
a it's
like
a it's a huge thing, man. I wouldn't be on here again if I thought it was silly. Um,
I know you, and like you're no slouch. So, and you know what? We were supposed to talk yesterday. I've been looking forward to this for a week because I enjoyed our last conversation, and just because I learned so much, and so I appreciate you coming on. I watch you. I'm jealous. It's like this guy. He's selling stuff. Ben needs
don't
product over in England, and
don't
hopefully our paths will cross soon.
don't be jealous, man. And you know, um, when I can release a bit of time and stuff and get this algorithm working a little bit better, we'll see how we can see what we can do with direct to consumer stuff, because I feel like your product can go direct to consumer quite easily. And
I
I,
agree.
I
Well,
feel
and be careful because
uh,
when I say jealous, man, it's like it's more out of respect because
yeah,
I have that same thing that a lot of drywallers have where it's like, I get affected. I feel real deeply or I'm sensitive. And, maybe somebody's winning over here. Our natural instinct is to be like, fuck that guy. How come I'm not winning? And we have it within us to rise up and I think be supportive
Yeah,
of, mud plugs or a new
yeah,
knife or somebody comes up with
yeah,
something new. Instead of being a dick, be like, hey
yeah,
man, that's pretty cool. Or share your buddy's thing to your
yeah,
story like that. That's
yeah.
what I mean.
Well, have a look. Have a look at my latest website, and then just jump into the products and click into that. And have a
Okay.
look at the way have a look at the way the website works. I built an AI agent which built that website. That was built with
Okay.
AI.
I have looked at your website too, by the way. I've dug in.
Uh, did you
I
look at
like
it today?
I like the way it operates. I think I looked at it maybe 2 or 3 days ago. But that's
So
AI. Unreal.
it's a fair bit it's a fair bit different now.
Okay.
Today it's a lot different. If you go on the profile photo, I've got the products, they float, they glow, up sales, everything.
You're working on a
It
completely different level than like this industry. Like you've sort of superseded like,
it's
you
the
know.
this is the thing that people don't understand, right? So we got mobile phones and these got these tech companies that are pushing their mobile phones and whatnot. What people need to realize is the tool industry is a $2 trillion industry, a $2 trillion industry. Even having 10% of that is absolutely huge.
Yes.
And 1% of that industry is huge. It's absolutely massive. And the thing is it's just like no one's come in and like people have done it in their own little sectors, but nothing's come in and just it just needs to be modernized a bit. Like it takes a little bit longer for us to adopt and everything. Like we're
Yeah.
using
They're not doing it. The fat cats aren't doing it. The people at the top that are making the most money, I'm not talking about tools, but maybe products.
Mm.
They're not doing because nobody's coming. This isn't tech. Nobody's come along that's really blown it out of the water, you know?
It's that money isn't coming back and like going back into the industry. That like there's certain things that I do that they wouldn't do. Okay, so someone someone's like, hey, look, I had an issue with this, and sometimes I work on a custom solution with them. If they bought a lot of products with me, and I'll help them out. I do these certain things, and I make the products better by their input, and I change it. Because I'm like, I can't make the best product on my own, so I need to take on what people are saying, and I just need to create a way to be able to communicate to everyone and understand everyone
I think
better to make it
that's,
more.
dude, that's your nugget, though. I think the Morph Sander is just a catalyst for like this bigger thing.
Oh,
You know,
it's the hero product. But the platform that I'm creating, like in my heart, I feel like it will morph the industry and it will change a lot of
I love
lives,
it.
and it'll take a little bit of just a tiny little bit away from the fat cats and just make sure that like people in this in like I just think that people deserve to be able to, if they want to make a tool, they should be able to sell their tool. If they want to have an easier uh, time working, they can make more money, everything's more efficient. Like we're using tools that were invented 100 years ago. Festool just celebrated its 100-year anniversary, and you've got to look at, do you think these people are on the tools anymore? No, they're not on the tools. They're very good engineers, they're very good in it and all. But I'm telling you, if I released a power sander, no one would buy their power sander
No, I
because
have no doubt in
I
my
know
mind.
if I really like, I just need the money to do it. And that's like one of my goals is to release a power sander. And I guarantee you it'll be 3 times faster, a way better finish. And it's just because I have that insight. And I'm sure if other plasterers had or drywalls had the ability and the money to do that, they could also do that. because they have the understanding of the industry and they're on the tools every day. And that's the thing is like being able to give that opportunity to people, like someone who's been in the industry for 40 years should be the one who's making tools. And that way we can keep progressing forward. Yet people who have never like they're on CAD and then they got someone who asks questions and looks around and goes, oh, okay, yep, do this, design this, and the engineer designs something. They hardly test it, it goes out, and that's the product it's done. And you see that so much, and there's so many products I buy and it just sits in the garage and I never use it. That's why I say if you don't like my product, just let me know. I'll just refund you, send the product back. That's the mentality about it. Because maybe in the future they'll buy another product of mine and like that product. That's just the way it is. And these industries aren't doing that. And yeah, it's stagnated. How has the whole world became so tech? Like how has it become so advanced, but everything that we're doing so rudimentary? Um, so we just need a catalyst for that, and I think the platform that I'm working on will 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 hopefully.
Do you have a name, a potential name for it? Or do you just want
I have a
Morph to
few.
be the blanket?
No, I'm going to make a different name because not everyone's going to understand Morph, and this is going to be a lot bigger than Morph.
Yeah.
But a few of the domains I'm looking at. So the domain I really want is $20,000. And then there's another one that's $6,000. It needs to be a domain that when people look at it, they understand. Like, how many times have you jumped on Facebook to like buy something and you search and there's thousands of tools that are unrelated to what you searched, and then you jump on the internet and you try and find something and it's literally just everyone who's paid for ads, the products there. And then you ask ChatGPT and it recommends you something and it's not good. And then
Dude,
you're
and
like,
James, you don't go down the rabbit hole because you can, I mean, look at food, look at what people are consuming in their bodies. That's all
yeah,
paid for. It's all put in front of you as part of a plan, and it's
yeah,
designed by people to make money. Okay, so
yeah,
what we're
but
talking about is like have some awareness when you walk through this life, have awareness.
yeah,
You are the
yeah,
director. You are in charge of what you put into your body, what you consume on a screen, and what you do
yeah,
from day to day. Like, and if we can help be a catalyst for that, then I'm all for it. I can put my head on the pillow at night and sleep well knowing I'm making
yeah,
a good product. I'm not selling snake oil. That's what it boils
yeah.
down
No.
to.
People think that they can't be hypnotized, but it is so easy. Like from what I've studied, it's so easy to psychologically manipulate someone into a sale, which is why I offer the 100% satisfaction guarantee because some of the content I make will sell really well and my website's optimized. I don't want them to feel like they got trapped into something that they can't return if they don't like it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. I just want as many people to try it as possible. So I will market it as good as I can. But if they don't like it, I can send it back. I just want a platform which shows you everything that people in the industry are talking about and liking on a nice platform to use. And that way people can discover stuff. And that way, like someone's like, oh, I just made this. It goes viral. And then boom, people from my platform are like, hey, I want to buy that. Like, are you selling it? And it helps blossom new brands that honestly would have never started. And that I just want that ability to be able to create something that isn't like manipulative, that's honest. The algorithm of what people are watching can't be lied to because they're spending this much time on the video, they're scrolling, and they're going, wait, I'm going back, I'll share it. And then they save it into their folder, and then their folder says tool I want to buy or something, or this looks cool, or whatever they save that folder in. And it's like, I just want to scrape the internet and then find what it is these things are and show them to people rather than there just being this filter of people are getting bombed here, people are doing this, and it's manipulating people to think about the wrong things. but it's just like I just came on here and I wanted to find the specific thing that I was looking for, and now I'm being showed something else, and now I've just been in this doom scroll for like 30 minutes
Yeah.
over things I actually wasn't looking for.
I hear you. It's been an absolute pleasure,
Yeah,
James
sorry,
Weihoenig. What is it? 168. 168. I know we kind of started in on a good note, then we went back to doom scrolling. That's okay. I do it
I
too.
don't think it,
The
I don't think it's
algorithms
bad.
the algorithms will show you. Like I tend to, like my feed would look way different than your feed and the next
Yeah,
person and the next person. But my feed
yeah.
is I have a lot of like uplifting stuff in my feed, and that's because that's how I
Oh,
gravitate. I don't have a whole lot of news stuff. I don't watch the news.
I honestly block any of that stuff when I see it.
Yeah,
I block most of it, but I do see what stuff gets showed to my partner, and she like freaks out about the stuff, and it bothers
yeah,
me. And I see
yep,
what people comment about and what people share on here, but
yeah.
for me, mostly what I see is about marketing and AI.
Hmm. Me
Like
too.
lots of
I get a
marketing.
lot of AI stuff, a lot of marketing. And it's
Have you done much AI?
fascinating. Yeah, I've done a little bit. It like, it's the balance. So it goes back to the balance for me where I'm very cautious about like
Don't give it everything. Don't give it everything. It's like
what I'm wasting my time on. It's like, okay, I'm getting a certain amount of sales over here. I'm fine with that. Like part of me is like really casual about what I do. And
yeah,
it gives me a lot of freedom.
freedom is important. It's the most important thing, and spending time with
It's
the kids and doing.
there's like a level of intelligence there too. It's not just what's in your bank account, and it's also like I'm healthy. I have a good
Yeah,
relationship with my family. Uh,
yeah,
there's a lot. We'll dive into that on the third episode, dude. We'll check
yeah,
back in with James after a year. But I am going to the movies with my girlfriend. Goes back to balance
yeah,
in about 40 minutes or so. So I'm gonna
yeah.
enjoy that.
Sorry,
She's like,
sorry, sorry,
still on the podcast. It's like hell
sorry
yeah.
for sorry for holding you up. I think we're
No,
both
I love
so
it.
ADD, so ADD, and we feel.
Well, we both are. We both are. I think we have a lot of similarities, and that I love that. I love this conversation. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think that a lot of the people that listen to the podcast will appreciate this episode. I appreciate you coming on, and
I
we'll
appreciate
talk
you, man.
soon, man. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, no worries. You have a good one, man. Catch up.
All right,
Peace.
brother. Bye. Huge shout out to James for being with us on the Drywall podcast today. I really appreciate your time, your information. You, sir, are crushing it. And I think there's a lot to be gleaned from some aspiring entrepreneurs in the industry. Find out more at morphtools.com and follow Morph on all your favorite social media outlets. He's there. His content is great. Also, I would like to usher in our newest sponsor to the show. Huge shout out to Panel Ray for sponsoring the Drywall podcasts in the months of April and May. Panel Ray will be hosting a booth with GWI and Fresco Harmony June 3rd and 4th in Bolton at the Trade Decorator Live Show. This takes place at the Wanderers Football Stadium Northwest in Bolton. Also, there's rumor that yours truly will be giving a 2-hour demonstration of Fresco Harmony at that very same show. We'll be giving out Fresco Harmony products and having a ton of fun, so don't miss it. You have a lot of choices when you head over to the radio to listen to something while you're at work or on your way to work. Today, you chose to listen to me and James wax poetic about marketing, and I appreciate you for that. Join us next week as we have Rich Allen of Accurate Knives, taping knives. It's a new type of knife that has a contoured blade that may revolutionize the drywall industry. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic week or weekend or whatever you're heading into. And remember, keep drywalling.